Okay, let's talk about the year 2026. For any nonprofit focused on youth, it's shaping up to be a real breaking point. The big question is no longer if you need technology, but how you're going to make it the absolute core of your survival strategy. Because right now, there's a hidden cost that's just draining your mission.
And I want you to just think about this number for a second. 40 to 60%. That's how much of your team's valuable time is getting completely devoured by manual data entry and, well, administrative headaches. We're talking nearly half the work week. Poof, just gone.
So this leads us straight into what our sources are calling the nonprofit squeeze. And it's this really bittersweet moment, right? Your work is more critical than ever, but you're facing this perfect storm of financial and operational pressure.
And these pressures are all colliding at once. You've got costs spiking by up to 15%. Your staff is burning out like crazy. And at the exact same time, you've got this 300% explosion in donor-advised funds, which brings in a whole new type of donor, one that demands total transparency and hard data to prove your impact.
In that pressure, it has a very real human cost on the ground. You see that 79% number? That's not just a statistic. That's a program director trying to meet a massive spike in community needs with resources that are just stretched way too thin. This is where we start to see this tech equity divide. The big, well-funded organizations, they're using AI to leap ahead. Meanwhile, the smaller, grassroots groups are just trying to keep their heads above water.
Exactly. And that brings us to maybe the single biggest shift happening in the funding world. Donors and grantmakers, they aren't interested in just funding activities anymore, what we call outputs. They don't just want to know how many workshops you held. They are investing in outcomes, real, provable, long-term change in a young person's life.
And to even begin to prove those outcomes, you have to deal with something we call the cleanup tax. Now, think of this as the huge invisible cost of wrestling with disconnected systems. Your spreadsheets over here, your paper sign-in sheets over there, a different database for something else. The cleanup tax is all the time your team wastes just trying to stitch that data together instead of actually doing the work. And that tax leads right to what we call the 95% problem. You're literally sitting on a mountain of incredibly valuable data, but because it's all trapped in different silos, it's pretty much impossible to see the whole story. You can't build that clear, long-term picture of a child's journey that a major funder now expects to see.
So the big question is, how do you fix this? Well, the strategic answer lies in specialized youth program management software. And this isn't just about getting another tool. It's about building a whole new operational backbone for your organization. And it's built on 4 key pillars. And here's how it all clicks together. These aren't 4 separate things. They're completely integrated. Your case management data flows right into your outcome tracking. Safety and compliance aren't an afterthought. They're baked right in. Volunteer coordination? That's automated. When you put it all together, you get this single, live, 360-degree view of every single person in your programs.
And this whole thing is powered by some really specific, game-changing tech. We're talking about persistent IDs that can track a kid's progress for years, AI that can actually read handwritten case notes and spot patterns of success, and, this is a big one, built-in, ready-to-go compliance for regulations like HIPAA and FERPA. And let's just pause on that compliance piece for a second, because for any leader working with youth, this is absolutely non-negotiable. Data privacy in 2026 isn't just about avoiding a fine. It's an ethical promise you make to your families, and it's a core pillar of trust with your donors.
Right. And it's super complicated because so many nonprofits live at the intersection of both of these laws. So for example, if you're providing services inside a school, you're probably dealing with FERPA. But if that same school has a small clinic run by a local hospital, boom, that clinic falls under HIPAA. Your software has to be privacy ready for both, right out of the box, with things like top-tier encryption and really strict access controls.
So what this all boils down to is this. Having robust security with things like a SOC 2 Type 2 certification isn't just an IT issue anymore. It's a strategic message. It tells your funders that you are a responsible, trustworthy organization that takes care of their investment and the sensitive data of the kids you serve.
Which brings us to the bottom line, the return on investment. But for a nonprofit, ROI isn't just about dollars and cents, is it? It's about scaling your impact. This is where an all-in-one platform, designed specifically for these challenges, can truly make your mission possible.
So let's talk about some real numbers. The right AI tools can slash the amount of time your staff spends on manual reporting by up to 85%. Think about that. That is a direct attack on the cleanup tax. You're not just buying software, you are literally buying back your team's time to focus on the mission.
And that time you buy back, it translates directly into more funding. This is a huge ROI metric. We're seeing organizations with these AI-assisted tools get up to a 3-fold increase in successful grant applications. Why? Because they can generate those powerful, outcome-focused reports in minutes, not weeks.
And get this is the weekly impact. By finally unifying all those disconnected systems, a platform like this can save, on average, over 15 hours of staff time every single week. That's basically 2 full workdays that you're handing back to your team to actually mentor, teach, and change lives. So, let's just put it all together. The right technology platform tackles these core problems head-on. It brings all your data together, it spits out the exact reports funders are demanding, it keeps all your sensitive info safe in a secure, compliant place, and it directly boosts your grant ROI. It's how you go from data chaos to total mission clarity.
The source material we reviewed ends with this really powerful quote from Ashley Costa. In the world we're heading into in 2026, adaptation is no longer optional. It is the one thing that will determine if you survive and, more importantly, if you can grow your impact. And today, adaptation is all about technology.
So we want to leave you with this one final question to really think about. When you look at your current systems, your data, and your team's bandwidth, is your organization truly built to adapt and thrive in the world of 2026?